Welcome to the Molo360 podcast, and I'm here with Eventual Infinity. Welcome.
Hey, hey, thanks for having me.
No problem. So first and foremost, I want to ask, who are you and what do you do?
I'm Peyton, also known as Eventual Infinity, and I am a music producer who makes electronic music, and I also just started a mixing and mastering service for other people too.
That's awesome. So who do you mix and master for? Like, are you allowed to tell us?
Yeah, so I just started. I'm gonna start like promoting it more to other people, but so far it's just been people who have asked me. And so far I've mastered the Winter Quilt Unplugged, his acoustic set thing that he did. I did Fake Fever's new B-sides album that's going to be coming out. I did the
cool.
vinyl master for Lost Cascades or Sierra Mist for his Crates campaign, and that turned out awesome. That's going to be so cool.
Hell yeah, I love Sierra
And
Mist.
yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's a
I love
great
his
guy.
chaos
Yeah,
energy.
yeah, yeah. I'm a little worried about him sometimes, but you know, he's got it. He knows himself, and I'm like, he's all right.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. I was looking into you, and you do a lot of stuff with Fake Fever, like a lot. Are you guys like really good friends?
Like I don't know if we're good friends at this point. Maybe at this point we are. Like it's really kind of crazy. Like I started following him on Twitter when he was posting videos about music he was working on for Surrogate, and like we just started, talking, and he asked me to add some layers to his song Snowfield for Surrogate for that album. And then like I asked him if he wanted to add some stuff to Mornings in Hawaii, and he was like, I don't know, like you kind of have the instrument stuff down, like maybe it just needs some kind of like sweet kind of poppy, sugary poppy lyrics over top of it. And I was like, sure, like have at it. And like since then we just like kept in touch, and we've done a lot of stuff together, and we're working on some tracks right now. We're buttoning up 2 right now that are going to be released in spring, and I'm really excited about that. Yeah,
Because I noticed he's the only person featured on Departure, and yeah, you did an EP Mornings in Hawaii with him, and 3 other people, Donorlands, High Tides, and Soulcraft, which is really cool. Like, you do a lot of collabs. How do you get in touch with these people like that and stuff for these works?
yeah. I tend to like just DM people. I don't like asking stuff publicly. Just like I don't want to put people on the spot or anything. I'd prefer to just like keep it private, and that's something that like I encourage people to do. Like if they want to work with somebody or something like that, just like don't be afraid to do it and just reach out. Like I've been in like sales and account management for a long time, so I think it's kind of easier for me to ask for stuff and like reach out to people and like, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? Like, hey, like here's what I'm working on. Would you be interested in it? Here's kind of what I'm thinking. And like the worst thing they're gonna say is no. So I really like working with people because I feel like I learn a lot, and it's a two-way street. Like we both learn tons from each other, and the end product usually ends up being better than if it was just me or just them working on it. So it's kind of cool to mix styles and collaborate.
That's so cool. And yeah, you're right. Like the worst thing that can happen is a no. So like, why not? Like,
Yeah.
they could always say yes. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I feel like your aesthetic is like Like a day in the summer, like a quiet day in the summer and with palm trees and stuff. Like, is that, would you say it's like that? Or like, what would you like say your aesthetic is all about?
Um, I would say it's kind of all over the place, and it shifts with like
Mm
each release.
hmm. Mm hmm.
Like this last one, definitely like it was, you know, Departure. My last like big release was like um, definitely inspired by my trip to Hawaii, and like very um, you know, islandy and bright and stuff like that.
Mm hmm.
But then you have other projects where, or other releases where it's a little darker or maybe like a
Mm
little more like cerebrals.
hmm.
And
Mm
then, you know, I kind of go all over the place, whatever I'm feeling really. So,
hmm. Mm hmm.
um, yeah, I guess it just kind of varies with each release.
Mm hmm. That's awesome. So how do you like go about like creating? Like, do you start with a beat or a theme of some sorts? Like, how do you go about it?
Yeah. Gosh, it really varies. Like sometimes it just it's really like whenever the inspiration strikes, I just kind of go with whatever I'm feeling at the time,
Mm
and a lot of it's inspired by like visuals and like I feel like my music, I try to make it very visual and like take the listener to some place or something or something
Definitely.
like that.
Yeah.
So it's usually inspired by stuff I'm looking at online. Like this
Mm
project originally started because of like I was obsessed with retro futurism and like
mm.
this idea of what people in the past thought the future was going to be like and all that kind of stuff.
Mm
And so I guess it really just kind of varies. Like I was working on an album before Departure, and I completely scrapped it because I was like, man, this is just too good. Like it felt right to make it about the trip and just kind of like not just like the bright summery feel, but there's kind of like
mm.
some dark sides to it too, of like kind of the anxiousness of planning a vacation,
Oh
and like it's gonna
yeah.
be, you know, it's gonna be over soon, and then oh, you got to plan the next one, and now it's
mm
just like a memory, and it's kind of like looking back at this memory of this great time and stuff. So I
mm.
felt like as the album like continued and stuff, it kind of got more hazy and like more kind of like distant as like more time had separated since the trip. So kind of
Mm.
took this weird morph. It's really like whatever I'm feeling and like whatever, honestly, like what I'm looking at online
Mm.
and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Vacations are like great, but once they're over, they kind of feel like they never happened. Like
Yeah,
for me. So
it's like
like
a weird dream.
yeah, like oh, okay, that flashed before my eyes. Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love Departure. I love the whole thing, and it's like really
thank you.
soothing to listen to. But I mean, there's some songs in there that are like kind of, upbeat, get my heart racing. But some songs are like really soothing, and I like it a lot. There's a whole
Oh, thank
variety in
you.
there. Yeah, I actually have it, so I'm gonna show it off. Um, you could actually still get the tape on Pacific Plaza. You also get a pin with it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's sweet. The second edition, like the glitter tapes, are really cool too. Like they turned
Yeah.
out awesome. So yeah,
I
I'm
wanted
really
to
excited about
ask
that.
about your relationship with Pacific Plaza because a lot of your releases are on their label. How did that
Mhm.
start? Like, how did you guys communicate about like producing tapes and mini disc? I know you produced a mini disc on there.
Yeah, Alex is awesome.
Yeah.
Like he so we hadn't really been talking much, and I had just started like playing live shows again. And I was doing some like promoting for one that was coming up, and he saw one of the videos and he was just like, dude, this is awesome. Like, who are you? Like, where what do you do? Like, where do you do this stuff? You're playing live music and like you're doing shows. And
hmm
he found out I was in Seattle and he had some friends up here, and we kind of had like the West Coast connection going on, and he invited me to play the tape swap. before Electronicon 2, and we
Oh.
met, and he released Deep Web Trap Beats that
Mm.
day on cassette. And yeah, we've just been friends and talked about tons of stuff going on in the music scene, like what projects I'm working on, what he's got going on. And I just really like releasing music with Pacific Plaza because, like, like the artists are so cool
Mm.
that are on Pacific Plaza. And it seems like there's some artists that are like starting to continually, release with Pacific Plaza.
Mm.
He Alex treats his artists really well, and I
Yeah.
swear he's not paying me to say all this, but he does actually. He really tries to take care of his artists, and make sure he like gets your music out there and it's heard. And
Mm.
yeah, he's just given me tons of opportunities, and yeah, I owe a lot to that guy. He's awesome to work with.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to like talk to him too, and he's like such a funny, awesome guy. Like if you guys ever have the pleasure of meeting him, he's so down to earth. He'll just treat you like a friend anyways. He's a good person. We love
He's so
Pacific
cool.
Plaza in this chat. um so why did you start making music? Like what was the push?
The push for like this project or the original, like,
The original.
oh,
And
when I
like
first got it
why
into
vaporwave
music.
too? Yeah.
Okay. So like let's see here. I used to like I learned DJing when I was like 15.
Oh
Um
wow.
and I just had got into DJing, and I like, this will probably age me a little bit, but like I learned on like turntables, and I saved up at like my first job to buy a Paratechnic 1200s that I still have, and they work great.
Oh wow.
Um and I'd always kind of been into like DJing and like electronic music and stuff like that. And
Mm.
so that's like how I first got into like performing and music and stuff like that. But like Eventual Infinity was just like kind of like a carefree kind of just whatever. I was just gonna like post whatever I was making, and I had the SoundCloud account. I was just posting stuff as I was making it. And then in time, like, themes started emerging, and I was like, they're, like I'd mentioned about retrofuturism and
Mm.
vaporwave and synthwave, and like I started getting into that kind of realm of things with it. And yeah, um, I just started like focusing more on that, and like as concepts started to emerge, I was like, I guess I have an EP now, and so I just released it. And then I started taking it a little more seriously and like investing more time in it and more energy, and it
Mm.
kind of changed over time to what
Mm.
it is now. And I'm sure it'll continue to change. It's like, it's
Mm.
probably the most carefree project I've had, where it's just like, I'm just going to make whatever I want. Like,
Hell yeah.
who cares? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to create some new, like, not create a new, and there's nothing wrong with this, but like creating a new alias or something. Like, I'm just gonna, anything tied to this internet music slash vaporwave realm is just gonna all be Eventual Infinity.
Hell yeah.
um, so yeah, that's kind of why I decided to do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like that's also great that you're just gonna put everything through eventual infinity. Cause like some people get typecasted and stuff. Like I've talked about it before on here, and that's lame. Just like keep them like guessing instead. Like you
Yeah,
produce whatever you want. I love that.
yeah, exactly. It's like, I
Mhm.
mean, there's really no rules with this, and
Mhm.
it's just do whatever you want. And like, especially within the vaporwave world, it's so awesome. Like, the artists and fans and people that are all tied to it are just so supportive, and it's like you
Mhm.
can experiment and kind of do it with no strings attached, and just like kind of do whatever you want. And people
Mhm.
will say, that's cool, like, do that, that's awesome. Like, it's just kind of whatever. It's definitely the most like chill music scene I would say I've been involved in.
Yeah, everyone is so freaking nice in this scene. It's awesome. Other scenes are like scary. But this one is like, it's like,
Yeah.
the scene is kind of like the Care Bears. Everyone is just really nice. I don't know.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Like, there's some music scenes where it's like, the guys, like, their arms are crossed and they're, like, watching them play, and it's just like,
yes.
Like, oh, that's a B flat to blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And it's just like, shut up. Like, all the beard stroking and, like, the elitism and shit like that. It's like,
what? I bet you can't even name 3 songs from Metallica. I bet you only know the most popular.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But this scene is pretty accepting. That's why, like, I got into this scene like a year ago, and the reason why I even, like, got so freaking involved was because everyone was just like open arms, like, let's be friends, let's talk about music. It's awesome. It's like, it's just a special place in my heart. I love it.
Yeah. It's really cool. Yeah, and everyone's so nice and accepting and just chill, and like, it's really easy to talk to people.
Yeah, I agree. So, I have a question about cassettes versus vinyls. What do you prefer?
Oh, man. That's a tough question. Like, I will say, because I learned to DJ, like, on vinyl when I was a youngster, it has a place in my heart. I absolutely love vinyl. I remember digging through my parents' vinyl collection and, like, good memories at, like, my grandparents' house of like all his old country and, like, Johnny Cash records and stuff like that. Like, I remember playing those at, like, different speeds and stuff. I was joking with Sleep Pattern that I invented Tumblewave because I was slowing down country records when I was like 5 or whatever.
Like,
Tumblewave? Have you heard that?
No, that's country music slowed down?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Country and, like, twangy stuff. Yeah. It's pretty hilarious.
Cool. I bet it sounds way better than normal country. I'm not a fan of country, so...
Yeah, I can't say I'm a big country fan either. But, like, there was, like, this video I remember on YouTube of, it was like Jolene played at 33 RPM instead of 78. And I thought it just sounded so cool. It's like 10 or 11 years old. Like, look it up, and it's so awesome to hear. Kind of like, people have been pitching and slowing and speeding up music for as long as we've been had the controls to do it. And that's what's kind of cool about, like, vaporwave and cassettes and stuff. Like, like, in, like, post-punk, there's this group called Severed Heads. They did a whole bunch of weird, like, splicing with tapes and loops and, like, these really crazy, like, cassette orchestras of loops and all this weird stuff. And, like, vaporwave kind of has that kind of vibe too, with all, the looping and chopping and stuff, even though most everyone does it digitally. So, like, cassettes, I really like cassettes, though, at the same time. Like, vinyl kind of has that special place in my heart, but, like, cassettes are just so, I don't know, they just look cool. I like cassette players. The art, kind of the sound they make, like, taking them out of the case and putting them in the cassette player, it's all kind of cool. So
I personally am a vinyl person. Like, I prefer vinyl, but I don't want cassettes to die, because I've heard, I'm a mutual friend of Tech Honors. He dated my friend. And he was telling me some insight how, like, cassettes just don't sell as great as, like, vinyls do, and that's, like, sad. That is just really sad, because cassettes are super cool. So I will buy a cassette even though I prefer vinyls, but cassettes are cool, and I just need a new cassette player. That's all. That's like I paid like $300 for like my record player, and my friend Daniel got me my cassette player, which sadly broke. But yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. But let's
like
not let these die.
yeah, and I kind of like I see it all the time. It's like if the album art looks cool,
Mhm.
people will buy it on vinyl almost just because it looks cool, which there's
Mhm.
absolutely nothing wrong with that. But it's
Mhm.
like vinyl's kind of like the double whammy of like the album art and
Mhm.
then, the crazy like splatter and swirl and like half and half
Yeah.
and sparkles and like I've seen some that are like filled with liquid sand and like all this crazy
What?
stuff with vinyl where it's
Yeah.
like vinyl's kind of got this huge like resurgence and it's
Mhm.
it's kind of having its moment. But like when
Mhm.
I got my new tape deck like a year or so ago, from Hawthorne Stereo in Seattle, and like they were like they're like, you want a cassette deck too? You're like the third or fourth person in the last like few hours. They're like, did somebody release something on cassette recently? Like, what's going on? I'm like, I have no idea. So I think like it's kind of having a little bit of a resurgence too. So
Yeah.
hopefully,
Yeah.
as like it gets back in the mainstream again, that'll impact like vaporwave tape sales and stuff too.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I think it. I mean, as long as vaporwave like survives, which I feel like it will. I mean, there's just so much like more that vaporwave can offer, and the community is all about like nostalgia and cassettes. So as long as that survives, we should
Yeah.
be having cassettes.
And then it makes me wonder, like, because CDs were big in the '90s, like,
Mhm.
and that like vaporwave is such like a like a '90s kind of '80s aesthetic kind of
Yeah.
thing. Even though that's changing a lot.
Mhm.
Um, I wonder why like CDs haven't caught on as much. I mean, they don't look as cool, and it's like we all.
It's true. Oh, oh no. Uh, I'm having some technical difficulties, guys. I'm just gonna join. I'm so sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. Here. F in the chat for my stream right now. Oh god. What is happening? Perfect. Alright, we're back. Okay. What were you saying? I'm so sorry. I don't know. I think it's
No,
my
it's all
internet.
good. Hopefully, I
This is like
wasn't
the
making
first
like a weird
time.
face
No.
that I was frozen on.
No, actually, it's just like completely like dropped.
Oh,
Don't worry. It's fine.
no, just
This
I was
was.
just like I was just asking about like CDs and stuff. Like it
Yeah,
seems like
yeah.
that would be like a very '90s thing,
Mhm.
but like they're just not as cool. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe they'll come
Yeah.
back. Like future generations of vaporwavers will think CDs are cool or something. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully. I love CDs. My brother back then would like burn CDs and like, oh god. Is it paused again? No.
Oh, what
Okay.
happened?
It paused again. I think it's my internet or something. It's fine. You're back up, so
Okay,
let's just pray. Everyone
power.
everyone pray for the stream right now. It doesn't
Okay.
matter what entity you pray to. Just pray for it. Thanks. Oh god. Done did it again. Let's see. Let me see. Let me see if I do this instead. There we go. Let's have 2 F's in the chat. Huh. Healing circle commence. There we go. Okay. I think the healing circle brought you back.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back now.
You can see me. I'm holding my crystal now.
Yeah, alright. That's
to...
great. That's good. Let's everyone hold your crystals, please. Okay. At that. Double up. Okay. Well. Oh no, did it do it again? I swear to God. Let me see if it's my internet. No, everything seems to be good. Hi, Sea of Noise. The podcast is about all Eventual Infinity today. Okay, you're back again. Oh my God. Sweet, sweet, sweet. This has actually never happened. Well, this actually happened with Nathan. Okay. This is fine. I keep moving it, so if you guys are wondering why I keep moving his camera, so you guys don't see anything. Okay, let's get back in. Let's see. That's probably a good idea. Hey, hello.
Hey.
You want to just try audio?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do this audio. Yeah, let's see if that like we don't drop, because I want to, you know, move on because we only have an hour.
Yeah, for sure.
In your place is a triangle. In your place for your face. That kind of rhymes. All right. Can everyone hear him though? That's fine. Oh yeah, anyways, yeah, CDs, they hold a special place in my heart because my brother used to like make them for me and my sisters, and it is really cool.
Yeah, like the book of CDs, I remember it well.
Yes, the book of CDs with the
flipping through it.
Yes. I think I still have my old one. I still have like a whole like bookshelf thing over here full of like old video games and old CDs of mine. It's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think I have like remember the spines they came on, like the little CD, like it was just like it looked like a pole and you set the CD on it through the center.
Yeah.
Like I think I still have like 5 or 6 of those in storage of old like dance music and DJ mixes and stuff. I'll have to dig through them. But I honestly, like, I don't even have a CD player in my studio anymore. Like, I'm looking around. I don't have one in my MacBook. Like, Apple got rid of them however long ago, and I guess I could listen to them in my car or something. I don't know.
Yeah, at least like cars still have like CD-ROMs and stuff, but rip the Apple. Unless you have like an old like Mac laptop, which is probably, I don't know if they still work. Because I don't know, their old laptops aren't as good as like their new ones, right? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, just like slower and stuff, but...
Yeah. I've never actually had a Mac laptop. Mac laptop. My friend does. And I'm jealous of him.
I switched, God, it must have been like 8 or so years ago, and it was a pain in the ass. Like, I did not like it at first because I had like grown up on PCs and stuff, so I would say don't switch unless you had to. Unless you absolutely have to for something.
True.
Because I mean, they're both like PC, Mac, whatever. It's like they both get the job done. So it's like whatever is
Yeah.
honestly easiest for you at this point. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and I paid a pretty penny for my PC, and Macs are like really expensive. I, I do
Yeah.
not. Yeah. I just like. I'm just like, oh my god. Back to questions. I have more
Yeah.
questions for you. I know
Let's
that
do
you
it.
did Thank You for Holding, which I have like a little thing in my visuals on here. If you guys notice, Thank You for Holding. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, that's a huge collab album you did with like Power PCME, Wiz of Loneliness, Eyeliner, Donor Lens, FM Skyline, Runners Club, Data Girl, etc., etc. Like you did. That was a huge lineup.
That was honestly just like the stars aligning is kind of what it felt like. It kind of like started from the tape swap at the Electronicon 2 tape swap. Like I had just played my single, Please Hold. It was like my release of it was that day. And I remember looking up and seeing Eyeliner, and he's like wooing to me playing it and stuff. And I'm just like, what? This is so crazy. And
Oh.
I remember after my set was over, I was talking with people, and it was like tons of people knew the song. They're like, Opus number 1, like that's the hold music, like the default call manager hold music and stuff. So somebody even said like, oh, it's kind of like the amen breaks of vaporwave. Like it's been sampled a lot, and people, like it's every once in a while someone will send it to me and be like, oh, it was sampled in this song too, or oh, it was sampled in this song, or I just called my pharmacy and when they put me on hold, that song was playing. And it's just like, it's just kind of one of those songs that like if people have heard it, they remember it and they like it. And like when I looked on YouTube and read the comments, people are just like, whenever this song's playing and the other person on the line picks up, I always tell them to put me back on hold because I love it so much. So like that's like,
Aw.
it's like how it all started was just around that song. And then it kind of, so like when I was reaching out to artists and stuff, I just like kind of pitched the idea and said like, hey, you can do a remix of this. It can be about phones, it can be about hold music, it can just be in that realm. And almost everyone said yes who I asked. There were, of course, you know, people who said they were too busy or they couldn't do it or whatever, but like that was just like so cool when artists started saying yes and like
Yeah, you have a lot of
sending in
artists.
tracks.
It's
Oh
like,
my gosh. Yeah.
yeah, and Skeleton's Lipstick in the chat is like, hey, I'm on that comp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his track's awesome. Like, yeah, it was awesome having him on there. And just like the album art is so cool too. Like,
Yeah.
Tropical Virtual, like I remember I'd reached out to Eyeliner and said like, I'm kind of worried about the album art. I'm like not really sure what it could be, and I have some ideas of like different stuff. And like he and I started talking. He's like, all right, let's make, like, he called it a brief, and he's like, just start putting in images of like what you're imagining into it. And he's like, and I'll put some in there too. So we went back and forth a little bit, and then I ran it by a couple different graphic artists, and Tropical Virtual, like he like totally ran with it and was just like, I can do this. And he put in a lot of time. There was a lot of different revisions and stuff of that album art, and it turned out like absolutely beautiful. So
I'm a
yeah.
huge fan of his now. Like I've been like adoring his like sets on Virtual Utopia. Like they're so amazing. Like the recent Virtual Utopia, which was yesterday, his set with Magdalena Bay was just so fucking incredible. I thought it was the best of the night for the visual part.
Oh yeah, it was like the cyberpunk kind of like city thing.
Well, it was like
yeah.
it was like a couple like stages for Magdalena for the like different songs that they did. It was awesome. Like it was, he obviously put a lot of work into it, and like, yeah, because the others, I mean, not to like hate on anyone else's visuals, I just really really liked his, and it showed how much work he put into it too. But anyways, yeah, that is so cool that you worked with him on Thank You for Holding. Now, are you like the main? So you were like the main person for that whole collaboration?
Like I came up with the concept and reached out to people and like coordinated it all behind the scenes. And then as things came out together, I had reached out to just two labels at first. And when I had talked with My Pet Flamingo about it, they like just ran. They were just like, "This is an awesome idea." So like, I thought, like the whole idea of Eventual Infinity and like, all my projects are like, I don't force anything. I don't like, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Like I try to make sure it's like as organic as possible. So like, if somebody's excited about something, I'm like, let's do it. Like let's get it done. Like
Yeah.
so. When I talked with them about it, I was like, your guys' comps are legendary. Like you do like Flamingo Funk is such a great comp, and I just thought that they would be able to pool the resources together and like bring it over the line for actual release. And they were the ones who came up with the idea for it being a charity release.
Oh, yeah, that was a great idea.
Yeah, that was awesome. And like they picked one they said we'll pick one from the UK and you pick one in the US. So I had asked like different artists involved kind of like what they would like to see, and we thought like given the state of the world that like especially in the US, like a crisis line or like some type of mental health services or something would be helpful. So that's why we chose the text line, which anybody can text for free and like get help and stuff like that. So
That's
it
beautiful.
ended up being really really cool.
That's really awesome. I love that. I I just love when like, okay, so these URL shows, like I like to see when they either like pay the artist, or they do fundraisers instead. I like to see that instead of just like, just produce a series of sets and stuff. I like to see when it's like actually helping people. I mean, I don't think it's necessary, but I think it's really cool when people do that,
Oh, totally. Especially
Yeah.
like a lot of artists, I mean, especially in vaporwave, it was just like live shows were just kind of ramping up in a lot of areas. So it's like to have all that kind of being taken away in the year that like live vaporwave was supposed to happen. It's like a lot of artists
Yeah.
were like chomping at the bit to like perform and stuff. So it helps when there's some money brought in for that, because like
Yeah.
when I play shows, I get paid. Like,
Yeah,
I get paid, and
exactly,
then I like,
exactly.
get some drink tickets and like, like whatever, like something to make, all the time and effort,
Yeah, because it's a
like,
lot of effort. It's a lot, like you have to record, and if you don't have anyone doing the visuals, like you have to do all of that. And even like visual artists, if like, like they also put in a lot of work, as well as like the musicians and musical artists. So I think
oh, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Like, think about how boring it would be without visual artists. What would we be
Exactly.
looking at? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
somebody like standing in their house,
Yeah.
just so 100%. Like, this year was definitely the year of like visual artists. It was kind of like it was really cool to see. And like, I'll give a shout out to
Definitely.
Sleep Pattern, my buddy
Yeah.
here in Seattle. Like, we were gonna play a show, like finally our first show together. Like, we had seen each other perform and stuff, and we had one set up for March with Epson and Darian Shields and stuff, and that was a bummer that we had to cancel it because of COVID and all that. But like, it's awesome to see him everywhere now, like playing all the big fests
Yeah.
and making visuals for so many cool artists and stuff. So it's really cool.
And you did a URL show with sleep pattern. Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah,
That was really cool. I love that. How are the URL shows for you? Like, what do you like? I know you did Vaporspace Premium, Virtual Memory 14, and Paradise House live stream. I don't know if there was others, but those were the ones that I found that you did.
yeah.
How are they? How?
Yeah. That's so I like it
Mhm.
for the most part. I feel like there's a little caveat to that of like I love playing live. Like it's so much
Mhm.
fun. And the amount of like work that goes into the URL shows
Mhm.
for it just to be like, kind of this fleeting thing, and it's like I go back and forth on them a little bit. So like after my
Mhm.
last show, URL show last year, I decided to take a break after that because it just got to
Mhm.
be too much, and like I wanted to focus on writing new music and like the next phase of this project and stuff. So like I'm excited to get back into it, but I'm still like I'm gonna continue to be kind of cautious with it
Mhm.
and only kind of like be, I guess, just a little more selective and just continue to be selective with them because um, there's only so much time in the day, and it's like those are very very
Of
time
course,
consuming,
yeah.
especially
Yeah.
like the way I do it and stuff. It's like it takes a lot of practice. It's like a one shot video recording of a full performance with like
Mhm.
synths and guitar and stuff like that. So it's like um
Yeah.
yeah.
I I loved the one where you played like on your synth and your guitar. I wanted to know how many instruments do you play, and do you incorporate like your um like actual instruments into your music? Because I know like a lot of vaporwave is digital instruments and samples. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I so I just started learning guitar this year,
Oh
and so like
wow.
I'm not very good at it. Like I can just kind of pluck along with stuff, and
Mhm.
Departure was the first album I've played guitar on. And like um but I mostly like I grew up playing piano. My mom was a piano teacher, and I learned like sheet music of like Final Fantasy, and I love Final Fantasy games and like the music in them and
I
stuff.
love
So like
Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 10. And I really love Final Fantasy 13. No one judge me.
I'll just say 10's good. I don't know about 13. I
Shut
haven't played that
up.
one.
I love that one. I played like all of
um,
them. I played the first one, the second one, and the third one. Didn't finish the third one, but it's okay, you know. That one's a little harder.
yeah.
I like my games easy, and I play video games for the story mostly, or for friendship, like multiplayer games. Love that shit. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And like totally with especially with like the Final Fantasy games, like the storylines are so good. It's
Mhm.
almost like just
Exactly.
like an interactive movie almost in a way. It's
Yes.
really it's so much fun.
And
Um
beautiful.
yeah,
Mhm.
the art and the music and just like everything is just so awesome in them. I the last one I just played the Final Fantasy VII remake when that came out. That was like the last one I played.
I need to play it
Ah,
so
it's so
bad.
good.
I need a PS4. And then PS5, I guess. I don't know. I'm gonna wait on that one.
Yeah, I just got a PS4 like when the pandemic started. I was like,
Mhm.
I'll need something to do, and I want
Yeah.
to play Final Fantasy VII, the remake, so bad.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it was really good. I won't spoil anything for you, but it's an awesome game. But that's like,
Mhm.
I guess to like answer your question, like keys are kind of like my first love, and like I
Mhm.
pluck around on a guitar. Um, and I'm learning that, but I also have some like percussion stuff, just like
Oh,
random
cool.
percussion stuff here. nothing like drums or anything, but like some sticks and like egg shakers and
Mhm.
tambourines and stuff, and I'll do some of that stuff too and like record it.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. So would you say like a lot of the music, like your music is like actually you producing it like that?
Um, yeah. A lot of it is like, I'm a big like sound design nerd, and
Mhm.
like, so I really like I get a lot of pleasure from like making my own sounds and like learning how synthesizers work,
Mm.
and I'm really into like layering and mixing, and like I really like having control over the whole production process. And that's not to say like I don't sample, because I
Mhm.
do incorporate some sampling into my music
Mhm.
and that kind of stuff, but I really do like, I just like, I prefer it. I enjoy kind of learning about the sounds I'm putting into my music. So
That's
I,
awesome.
if I'm using like an old sound or like an old preset, I like to kind of like, um, clean it up and add
Mhm.
layers to it and like make it maybe a little more modern sounding, but like, so like some of the cheesy sounds in my music are usually like really old patches or sounds or something like that that I'm like trying to recontextualize, kind of, because that's kind of like what I think of vaporwave is, like recontextualizing things, and either
Mhm.
like breathing new life into them or using them in a way they weren't intended.
Mhm.
Uh, so I like that kind of like, taking old shitty sounds and layering them with a whole bunch of stuff and making them sound big.
That's awesome. I wish I could do that. That's so cool.
You
I
can do it.
I
You
could
can. Trust
if I
me.
put all the effort. I'm trying to also become a hairdresser. That's also another thing. That's like my passion, but this is like I love music and the arts so much. I I just love being involved. But yeah. Anyways, I just want to give some time for everyone who's watching. If you guys want to ask some questions, let's roll this out. Question Q&A time. And while they're doing that, um, so you live in Seattle. How's the music scene,
Yeah.
in your opinion, there? How is
So
that?
I was kind of cracking up at like what. First of all, like Dr. Chris, I'm not sure if you're still in the chat or not, but dude, like I totally get what you mean about like people are just like humping this dream of being the next war on drugs. It's like four piece indie rock bands. It's like, oh god. It's like, what do you think of when you think of Seattle? It's like grunge, but then it was like Fleet Foxes, and then like all these kind of like
Mhm.
indie bands kind of thing happened. So like I would say the music scene here isn't quite like what it used to be.
Mhm.
I, the city is very expensive now, and it's not to say there aren't like a lot of artists here, because there are, but
Mhm.
like tons of people move to like LA. It's like
Mhm.
it's people are still like moving away from here to like pursue a music career in LA and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And there's still some good art and like good electronic music coming from out here. Um, but like, and like surprisingly, the Pacific Northwest, if you think about like, vaporwave and kind of like internet music, you have Vancouver, Portland, and Seattle that are all very close. And it's like you have Young Bay, Blank Banshee, Otto, R23X. Like,
Mhm.
you have tons of great electronic artists and vaporwave artists from up in this area, but it's just not
Yeah.
like the clubs and like it's still like EDM, and like then it's like the four-piece band, and it's like then it's like vaporwave and
Mm.
internet music and stuff. So it's kind of like it's still kind of like this kind of forgotten child in a way, but it's like we're gonna work on it some more.
Yeah.
We're definitely gonna work on it some more,
It's
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds better than Florida. That's all I'm saying. So let's start with the first question by NRail. How are you? Wait, where is this? I like lost it. He's like, how are you so handsome? I saw that one. Oh yeah, there it is. How are you so handsome and talented?
uh I can't take credit for the handsome part. That's my parents. And talent, dude, as you know, um talent is a myth. Like it's 100% a myth. It's like it's just like time and effort. Like nobody is like, I always laugh when it's like, oh yes, that person has God-given talent. It's like no, like it was like just a bunch of fucking hard work and like
Mm-hmm.
putting in the time. And I still feel like I have so much to learn, and that's like what I think is, you know, the most important part with music in general and art is just to always stay focused on learning and just keep like a learner mindset and just be a sponge and try and absorb everything, because when you stop learning, then you just become this like rigid rock that's not really changing or evolving or in any way. So
Amen. Yeah.
yeah.
That's so true. And your life just becomes boring.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Be Careful Media asks, what hardware and VSTs do you use for mixing / mastering? I love how clean your mixes are.
Oh, first of all, thank you. I spend a lot of like, I feel like my brain works more technically than like the feeling, like the music part and the composition and stuff really takes me a long time. But like the mixing and like putting everything in space and making it sound nice and like the mixing and mastering, I feel like I can very easily, like my brain thinks that way a little bit more. But like in terms of hardware, I've used mostly software forever. And in the last couple of years, I've started going down kind of the slippery slope of more hardware. And it's like I use Logic Pro, and my go-to synths are like the software synths are definitely Serum. I love Serum, and it's not just for like aggressive wubs and like dubstep music at all. It's like it's super versatile, and I use it for all like nice lush soft pads and plucks, and you can make drums in it. Like you can really do all sorts of different stuff with it, and it's really nicely laid out. I love, for like mixing and mastering, I use the Isotope Suite, like Ozone, and I use Fab Filter stuff. I use gosh, there's one I'm blanking on. It's like this little black and blue box, and it's a really good saturator. I use OTT, which I know NRail knows and loves that one. But like for like, here's where I think people get trapped in like tricks and stuff. It's like use your stock EQ and your stock compressors and like learn those before you go out and buy new ones. Like I still use the stock EQs and compressors and stuff like that. But then like as far as like hardware stuff goes, I love my Korg MS-20. That thing is so much fun. It's semi-modular, so you can like feel like a old school telephone operator and move patches around and chords and stuff. That's probably one of my favorite synths. I just got a Roland D05, which has like Roland D50 sounds, which is like it's like vaporwave in a box. It's beautiful.
That's awesome.
I got a Moog Matriarch for like nice fat thick basses and kind of leads and stuff like that. Darian Shields, I mastered his album that's coming out soon, and he gave me a Casio VL Tone, which is like this cheesy like synth thing that makes these like, it's from the 70s. It sounds really cheap, but it sounds great with some reverb. And yeah, I could talk about gear and plugins and stuff all day.
Yeah. So. That was a long list. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, Skeleton Lipstick asks, favorite synthesizer.
Favorite synthesizer? Oh my god. Um, dude, I honestly have no idea. I would say the one that I most immediately connected with was the Korg MS-20. Like when I first played that thing, it was just so much fun. Like it has this upright panel, so like the keys are flat and right in front of you, but then the panel goes up. So it's like you can tweak the settings very easily as you're playing. The way it's like laid out and everything, I absolutely love it. And it's so much fun. So I would say that, and God, there's so many that I like, but that's like we'll just go with that because that was my first one that I like really felt like I connected with.
Oh. Cammy B, well, like Cammy me B ask, can you ask Eventual Infinity who his favorite cousin is? Casey? Ashley? Cameron?
I take it that's my cousin Cameron listening. That's so funny. Well, of course it's you, dude, because you're listening. Like, where are they at? I don't know.
I love it. Family Feud.
Oh, that's so funny.
Cloud City ask, favorite album of 2020.
Oh, don't make me do that. I don't know. I don't know. That's I hate like the not I hate, but like it's so hard for me to choose favorites when it comes to like a year of like there's so much good meat. I don't even know where to start.
This was a really good. I mean, it was a shitty year, but it was a great year for music.
Yeah,
I feel. I don't know.
it really was. There was tons. God,
Yeah.
it's hard for me to pick. I wish I could say, but it's like I would probably list 50 before I could choose.
You could just say all of it. Well, I mean, there's probably ones that you don't like, and that includes literally all of it.
Yeah. God, like last year my favorite was FM Skyline's album, Advanced Memory Suite. So we'll go with his new one that
Hell
came out
yeah.
in 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it
I
called?
love his music.
I have that on vinyl. I love it.
Me too.
So good.
I want to call it Marble, but I know I just always think of marbles. Lightwear.
Lightwear, yes! I really fucking love that one. Also, it was my first introduction really to FM Skyline, so I really love that one. Torch2424, aka Groovy Kaiju, because I know, ask, what's your favorite food?
I love all food, honestly. Like
Oh.
but like if I had to pick, like seriously, there's never anything in front of me that I will say, "Ooh, no, I can't do that." No. It's like I will clear my plate before anybody. I would say like I love like a good comfort food is like teriyaki. I absolutely love it, and there's tons of teriyaki restaurants in Seattle, so it's like that's kind of like the fast food here in a way. It's like you just go and get teriyaki. I love teriyaki. I love like Mexican food, burritos. Thai food is also really good. Sushi. So
Sushi!
I guess, yeah, all that stuff.
Alright, Torch2424 again asks, who are your favorite musicians in general?
That's so tough. So I have a fascination with like electronic music producers. Like it amazes me when I hear something that is like so incredibly clean and like dialed in, and I just want to like figure out how they did that. Like there was an artist, let's see, And I'm super bad with artist names too. I'll just say that right now. Like it's really hard for me to remember for some reason. I can picture the albums in my head.
No, I totally understand that. Like, you could probably picture, like, their faces, just not the name.
Yeah. So I'll just kind of go with like some new artists that kind of come to mind. I really like, there's like a really vibrant like electronic music scene in I think it's Kenya right now. They're like having a moment where it's like there's tons of great club music coming out of there. There's an artist called Slickback who's really good. Um, Minor Science is a producer out of, I think he's German, but he's really good. Just insane, like it dialed in production. I absolutely love. Then on the complete opposite end of that is Idols. They're just like this really loud, aggressive, like almost like punk rock band from the UK. No Joy, she's this incredible artist that's like a mishmash of all sorts of different stuff. Like No Joy is like old school like 90s trip hop mixed with like new metal mixed with like ballads mixed with all sorts of stuff. I really like Boy Harsher. Teen Days, I would say I take tons of inspiration from Teen Days. His music is absolutely beautiful. It's like this very melodic music.
Awesome.
And then within like vaporwave, I really like first like when I first got it, felt like you just like you go through the wormhole and it's just tons of different artists come to mind and stuff.
So many, yeah.
But like I really gravitated towards kind of like the more dancey stuff at first because that's where my background came from. So like like Blank Banshee, and I call him Vapor. I know it's Vape Error, but I like I call him Vapor. And like that kind of stuff like really kind of drew me to it. There's an album called Eternal Champ by Sweet Valley.
I don't know Sweet Valley. I couldn't tell you. there's
Valley
so many.
is sick.
Yeah.
Definitely check them out if you like video game music and stuff, because they mix like video game music with like kind of beats and stuff, and it's
I love video game music. It's like like that's also another reason why I even got into this music, is like it reminds me so much of like all the video games that I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should seriously check out Sweet Valley then, because like
Sweet Valley. I'm gonna write that down.
And do you know like that kind of punk pop band from LA called Waves with two V's? Waves.
I think so.
So the lead singer of that band, he and his brother make Sweet Valley.
Cool.
But now that you've asked, I could just keep listing artists. Like Jacob 2x2 is an incredible producer from New York. He's like just like insanely talented. It's like so that's why I have such a hard time picking, because it's like once you get me started talking about these different artists and stuff like that, it's like I could just keep listing all these artists I love, because I love so much music.
Well, Torch didn't put a number on that. He didn't ask you what your favorite musician was. He asked musicians. So. Oh
man, yeah, I could keep going.
Yeah, but we could go. We could go on to the next question. By Agnes Music. My friend Josh. Question: best Seattle grunge era band?
Ooh, God. I would have such a hard time picking again. So what's weird about like with me and grunge music, I love their acoustic sets the most. Like the Nirvana Unplugged and the Alice in Chains Unplugged were like just insane. Like if you haven't watched them, they're such beautiful like time capsules of that era. They have candles on stage. Everyone looks super 90s. It's just like, it's awesome. And so I would say probably one of those two. I'm definitely not on the Pearl Jam side. Like, fuck those guys. I'm sorry if anybody likes Pearl Jam. Like, not into that.
That's fine. Pearl Jam's
but,
alright.
Yeah.
Wait, so Nirvana came from Seattle?
Yeah.
No way. Holy shit. That's so cool. I don't know much history. That's fine.
That's alright. Yeah.
Anywho,
yeah.
we'll go on to another Groovy Kaiju question. Who in the vaporwave scene do you want to collab with, and who do you listen to regularly?
I would love to. I would have to think about that because it seems like a lot of the collaborations I've wanted to do, I've reached out to them, and there's like, but there's like some that still haven't happened and stuff. So, gosh, I don't really know. Like, I think it would be so cool to blend, like, especially my more like atmospheric kind of sound with like FM Skyline. I would love to collaborate with that guy on
Hell
something.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And he was on your collab. The Thank You for Holding. Yeah. Were you able to talk to him a lot? Or
yeah, we talk a little bit here and there, but like and we met at the tape swap, you know, Electronicon too, and but like I would love to like work on something kind of different from like both of our comfort zones. It'd be kind of cool to just see like what we came up with, because he's so like musical and comes from like, I don't know how many projects he's been involved in and stuff like that, but like it would just be kind of cool to see what happened. But like I listen to
great collab.
I listen to tons and tons of vaporwave. Like I would have to look at my Bandcamp app to see like what I listened to recently. I like the new Bathroom Plants that was just released. That was really good. Eyeliner, Telepath, of course, Luxury Elite, Tower of the Sun, Runners Club, N5X's. I'm not really sure if that counts, but I absolutely love his stuff.
Same.
2814, HKE, Data Girl, Groovy Kaiju, Sierra Mist, Trapes. Pretty much anybody who's on Pacific Plaza, I listen to all your music.
Awesome.
Yeah, Winter Quilt. And then, yeah, I guess I could keep going on all this stuff. I really love like what Stratford Court has been releasing too. That label, they do like hotel pools. It's kind of like this vapor synthwave crossover stuff that's really, really cool. Hotel Pools makes beautiful music.
Awesome.
And yeah, I could keep going though.
Shiro City asks, has anyone ever accidentally called you Pat Chennington?
People have jokingly called me Peyton Chennington before.
Really?
It's so funny.
Why?
Yeah, just like joking. I guess like because it starts with PAD, and like people have called me like, you know, Patton, or like have messed up my name and stuff, and like I don't really. I've heard it so many times that I just like at this point I stop correcting people if they call my name wrong. I'm like, no, it's actually Peyton. Like, I'm just like, whatever. Yeah, that's fine. You can call. And sometimes it's completely off. Like they'll be like, oh, Dave. Yeah, nice to meet you. I'm like, okay, I'm Dave now. That's fine. Like whatever you want to call me.
You can call me Daddy. Whatever. It's fine. You're
Sure.
like whatever you want to call me. What if someone called you that though? Would you still be like
call me Daddy?
Yeah. You're like,
I mean, as long as the check cleared, I don't care.
as long as the check Oh, that's great. I love that. Well, okay, I'm gonna see. Um, are you down for like one more question, or because it is
Yeah.
nine? We're already kind of over our time limit,
Um,
but
yeah. Yeah, let's do it. I have yeah, like 15 or so minutes left.
okay, cool. Because I think these are good questions. Twin Pines asks, do you collect vaporwave cassettes? If so, what's your favorite in your collection?
Yes, I do. I have two Napa Valley racks above my like filled. And in fact, I have cassettes I need to sell because I'm like out of space and stuff. So like I would say though, like there's so many like sentimental cassettes that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Because like people have signed them or they've given them to me. One of my favorites that just like instantly came to mind was one that was gifted to me by my friend Chris, who passed away earlier this year. He would go to Japan and like go to whenever they did the Neo Gaia fantasy stuff, like Equip and Vapor and R23 and all those guys would go to Japan. He would
Mm-hmm.
always follow them around and like go to the shows and stuff over there. So he actually
Yeah.
gave me one of the cassettes and
Aww.
got it signed by a few of the guys and
Mm.
yeah. And like I feel like I have a few cassettes that have like sentimental value that I would just never ever think to sell. So um yeah, it's cool. I that's kind of what's cool about like physical media and like physical art and stuff like that. I feel like there's something kind of ingrained in us about collecting it and keeping it. And it's like, you know, this is mine, and it's like a little piece of that art or something
History.
that you get to hang
Yeah.
on to. So
That's
yeah,
the greatest appeal
that's
about it. It's like you get to. This is like a moment in time. It's like a time capsule. All these cassettes and vinyls and stuff, which is
yeah,
why it's worth it.
absolutely. Especially in a world of streaming and
Mhm.
stuff being so like quickly turned over and stuff like that. It's kind of cool to hang on to physical media and art stuff like that.
Yeah, and I know you did a stream, a URL show dedicated to Chris Sadowski.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah,
was beautiful. That was really sweet.
yeah. I miss that guy.
Yeah.
I'm looking at he carried this. I wish I was on camera. He carried this like it's like this rainbow like glitter T-Rex backpack that he got in Tokyo for me and Hannah. And he said he's like I carried that thing all through Japan for two
Aw.
weeks and all this.
And
And
you
it's
have
like
it?
yeah, I have it in my studio. I'm looking at it right now. It's
That's cool. You
I
could get on camera for a little bit. I'm sure it can't glitch out
oh
for like a second.
yeah. Let me grab it real quick. I'll grab the backpack. See,
Here we go. Move the
Chris.
triangle. Move the triangle. There we go. There we go. That's awesome.
Yeah, see it.
Wow.
Yeah, he carried this thing, and
Aww.
it's a little backpack and stuff. And I use it as like a sound dampening thing now, but it's like it's back on the doorknob to
That's
my
awesome.
studio space here. Yeah.
I love that. That is so sweet and special. Aw. Yeah, RIP in chat for Chris. It was really sweet.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Let's end the thing.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Do you want to shout out anything? Like,
Uh,
what's to come for Eventual Infinity?
let's see. Shout outs. Keep an eye out for the collab tracks from Fake Fever and I. We're going to be releasing 2 in the spring. Um, And like I mentioned at the beginning, I'm going to start offering up mixing and mastering services for people. I just updated my website. And if you have music coming out and you need like a fresh set of ears on it, or somebody to mix or master it or anything like that, yeah, just shoot me a DM or request a quote or whatever on my website.
That's awesome.
And then
Yeah,
also I'll
website's in
start.
there.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I will. I'm also going to start a.
The camera. I mean, of course. It's fine. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's fine. All right, where
Can
did
you
you
hear me
leave
all right?
off? Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to be starting a production stream called Infinistream, and
Mhm.
that's going to be started in January, and I'll be doing it once a month at first, and then we'll hopefully start to do it bi-weekly, but we'll see how it kind of goes for a month at a time. And I eventually want to like bring on, guests and that kind of stuff too, and just talk about production and all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. So yeah, that's kind of what's next for me. And I'm working on an album
Awesome.
with a ton of great artists too right now. But that's very early, and more details to come on that.
Hell yeah. Awesome. All right, and I'm gonna shout out my next stream is gonna be with Skeleton Lipstick. I hope to see all of you there. Thank you all for joining me and Eventual Infinity today. It was a great time, and thank you for joining me, Eventual Infinity. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting